Under your eyes there, my friend. That's kidneys, no question about it. Weak muscle. This is totally kidneys. Fix the kidneys, the bags will go away. Endometriosis. This girl's from Portugal. I had a clinic in Lisboa, where you are, Lisbon, and I love Portuguese people, and I love Portugal. It's great. The old castles are great, but I didn't overly care for Lisbon. I mean, you know, the very narrow streets, and funny though, but great people. I love it, and I love down in the South Seas that are Portuguese too. I have a good criminal defense attorney that's Portuguese. Yeah. Endometriosis. What do you think? Well, going back to the lymph system again. You're going back to the lack of your ability to filter your lymph system in the endometrium wall and all through your body, in the uterine wall, I mean. And so you see this everywhere. And in time it sets up fibroids or ovarian cysts or then uterine, ovarian, or cervical cancers. So the only way to find remedy is to move those lymphs, get your kidneys filtering, get your adrenal glands up, and get this on. If you're running high estrogen levels and your periods are irregular, and I will do a video on female problems. That's coming, I promise. I got so many of them to do. But you never want to take an estrogenic formula. I don't make an estrogenic formula with black cohosh, anything like that, because too many women have too much estrogen. There's a lot of estrogenic compounds out there. Soy is very estrogenic. A lot of pesticides, herbicides are estrogenic. So I don't recommend going in that route. Most women, you have to understand, ovarian functions are controlled by the pituitary, FSH. So a lot of times you have to go in and fix your endocrine glands. Well, let's go back. All the body is a bunch of cells and two major fluids. I don't care if you're talking about ovarian tissue, pituitary, hypothalamus. I don't care if you're talking about thyroid. As a matter of fact, when you talk about menopause, you're talking about thyroid problems. Hot flashes is thyroid. However, the pituitary controls the thyroid. So you always want to work on pituitary and thyroid when you're in menopause. You should not have good menopausal symptoms, or strong ones. Now, women's periods are interesting. I'll cover that, but fruitarian women shouldn't have much menses at all, because your menses is generally regulated by how toxic you are. And when you're very clean as a woman lymphatically, you only spot. So really, we see a lot of problems in our lives directly related to the health of tissue. So, yeah, endometriosis, all this stuff's very curable stuff. We have clinics popping up in Romania. We're working around the world in different places to get some clinics going, but we have even a bigger project yet that you guys will really love worldwide. And think Disney type things, big stuff, big stuff. And this should be exciting for all of you. I'm going to need a lot of help. Yeah, another lady was asking me about clinics in London. You know, I train a lot of people worldwide and a lot of physicians. I just trained some medical doctors from Africa, and they're opening up clinics in Africa. So hopefully as we grow, I do have a lot of clients in London. One lady just moved to Canada from London, was a healer for me, but I don't know. You'd have to ask Jennifer in our office. She controls all our practitioners. Is there anything in the world better tasting than freshly juiced cantaloupe? This guy really likes freshly juiced cantaloupe. You know, I love it all. I tell you what, the flavor of fruits and berries and melons when they're ripe and they're picked good, I'm telling you, there's nothing like them. Grass doesn't even fit in the picture when you're used to having these beautiful tasting fruits. This is where all the flavonoids, this is where all the nutrition is. You notice when you eat grass, you have to eat a ton of it, but when you eat fruits and berries and melons, you can get full quite quick. This guy's Italian, likes pizza. You know, I like the smell of pizza, but when I take a bite of it, my body goes, oh, that's not good. Yeah, fungus. A lot of people have fungus in them. and fungus in the nails, and like fungus is, of course, dealing in fermentation. People that have high fungal problems either have weak adrenal glands, and they'll see moles growing all over their bodies, and this is because they're not metabolizing sugar, so fermentation is a big factor, and you need yeast to fermentate sugars, and ferment sugars, and then you have the lymph system. The other side of this is sulfa drugs, and if I have not touched on sulfa drugs before, what another crime is the use of sulfa drugs. And yet here we're pushing glucosamine, chondroitin, all these sulfur compounds. Sulfur's not healthy. There's nothing healthy about sulfur. People push cruciferouses and cancer. Why? There's nothing healthy about sulfur. Sulfur is an irritant, it's a gas, it absorbs into the GI tract and stays there, it blocks lymphatic suppression, and it is a fungal proliferant. If you, in one way, sulfur is an aphrodisiac to the fungal community. I've got a medical doctor friend that runs a hospital in San Diego, and we look at a lot of sulfur in people. It turns your eyes orange. So if you get a real strong mirror like a 15X and use a light, if you have orange in your eye, that's sulfur. And that's a lymphatic suppressor and a fungal proliferant. And those two things, you have a lot of problem. I don't have too many RA or rheumatoid arthritis cases that do not have a lot of sulfur in them. So very serious, and fungus leaves uric acid crystals. So this is a bit of a problem here, because you can have a lot of gouty problems and a lot of pain from high fungal problems, and then depression and confusion, and there's a lot of problems. But people blame everything on fungus, and it isn't true. But they definitely, when in an overgrowth scenario, not good. So to get relief in the nails, you've got to move those lymphs, get your adrenals up so you metabolize sugar and get away from starch. Pizza is why you like pizza, man. Pizza is a great fungal food. You got your white flour, your fermentation of the flour, and you got your cheese. Those are the two things moles grows on like that. And people blame fruit for fungus problems, and I have to laugh, because if in your kitchen, if you put on your kitchen counter a handful of grapes, a piece of cheese, and a piece of bread, which one of those three things grow mold on them first? Of course, it's going to be the cheese or the bread, because they're already fermented. Grapes are not going to grow mold on them until they start to ferment. Now, I appreciate this comment by this sweet thing. She doesn't mind my longer videos, and I don't know how to make short ones, honey. I tell you, I'm used to speaking hours on end, and so, like I said, I have my own school. I speak for weeks at a time, so it's hard to get over to you what I need to in short videos. But I will say that I do repeat a lot the lymph system and the kidneys and adrenals, and once you catch that, boy, you've got it. And you will certainly help yourself out tremendously. And I don't mean to offend anybody, including this oncology nurse. I don't. But you have to sit on my side, and you will change your mind, because there's so much propaganda and brainwashing out there. You don't want to be a victim of that. She asked me what's my thought on premenopause and this sort of thing. Again, thyroid, pituitary, getting the body healthy. I think if you focus on getting the body healthy, I had a lady yesterday, she had actually come to me 2 years ago, got so much fear-based that she went chemo, and now she's got cancer in the bones. Very common. You know, chemo seems to always create or break down bone cells and create bone cancer or leukemia. These are two common things you get from using chemo. I had a young man that had only cancer in his knee, and his oncologist said, well, I could cut off your leg, but let's do chemo first. Well, he should have cut off his leg. So he did chemo, and when he was done, he had cancer in four different skeletal areas. And it's like, you know, come on. So we have to grow up. We got to get out of this sort of thing.